Hello, and welcome back, you heathens, to 10-7 Off-Duty Podcast. I'm Andrew Straley, your friendly neighborhood natural selection interventionist, and with me is Clyde.
Hello.
How's your week been, dude?
Mostly tiring.
Yeah.
Still getting the mother-in-law's car going.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've made some decent headway.
There you go.
So.
Well, I mean, let's be real fucking honest. And as we've told people before, we're coming to you from Illinois, where everything fucking blows.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep. What is it? Melvin's Law? Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Murphy's Law. It's
Whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Every time I pop the hood on a car, that is my life.
Yeah. Not every time. After the day after we recorded the last episode, you came by so we could replace your starter. And that didn't go too bad.
No, that was shocking. That was I was just as surprised as you were about that one.
Yeah. I fucking hate Illinois, man. I really want to get the fuck out of here. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, I understand.
The weather sucks.
Yep.
It's raining now. Last week, we had negative 35 wind chills, and everything was frozen solid.
I was working outside at the time.
Yeah. I was working in my...
I had 4 layers on under my coveralls.
Yeah.
My insulated coveralls.
I was working in the garage the night that the temperature actually dropped, and the wind started picking up.
Yeah.
Like the night it was all supposed to start. It was finding every fucking nook and cranny to come into the garage. And I thought
I had a garage, not a wind tunnel. What the
Yeah,
hell is
it
this?
Sucked. Like I didn't even know wind could get through wood, but apparently it can.
If it flexes hard enough, anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah. This is not a political podcast, but fucking politics in Illinois blow.
Yeah, no, absolutely, no doubt. I think that our viewers know how we feel about the politics in Illinois, considering in the last, how long have I worked with you now? 6 months?
Yeah.
About 6 months.
You know what's really funny? This is episode 36. We've been doing this long enough. We could have had a baby. 9 months.
If I would have gotten you pregnant the first day we met.
Because
by
who
the
said
way,
you're getting me pregnant?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Maybe I got John pregnant. Okay.
I'm the one with the scruffy beard, and not the skinny jeans.
It doesn't mean shit. It's fuck.
But no, for those of you guys that don't know this, I am almost positive. I'm at least 99% positive. The first day we met was the first episode I was on. Like, I think I knew you guys for about 20 minutes before you guys handed me a microphone and
you were the shy boy.
Dude, I
didn't
didn't know
say
either of you,
anything.
man. Like, they've heard me say it before. I walk in this house, I'm 6 foot, so I'm not short, but I weigh 160 pounds. And both Drew and John are about 6 feet and probably outweigh me by 50 to 100 pounds. So, I mean,
I'm
I don't
220
know
right
either
now.
of these guys.
John looks like he could have a baby.
Don't talk shit about John. I like that guy.
I like John too. I've known him long enough. I can tell him he's a little pudgy boy.
I haven't known him that long.
Okay. Love you, John. Maybe I did get him pregnant. Maybe that's why he's pudgy. Butt baby.
John, do you still listen to our show?
I think he does. Pretty sure. I don't. Why are you asking a microphone? It can't talk back to you.
Because if he does, then we'll know on Friday when he messages you.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, it was so cute the first time you came over and he gave you a microphone and it was like fucking Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands,
dude. Okay, 1, didn't know any of you guys. 2, first time I've ever had a conversation recorded.
Yeah.
Well, for leisure. And
if you're
3,
in an interrogation room, it's probably still recorded.
I've been in AI. IA.
Fuck that.
AI. I've been in artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
No, internal affairs. I've been in internal affairs.
Pretty sure all of my intelligence is artificial.
But and then last, I was a smoker at the time.
Yeah.
And we were hanging out for like 3 straight fucking hours.
Yeah.
And you don't allow smoking in your house.
Yeah.
I was plugged in that whole time. I'm like, oh God, I just want a nicotine.
I think it's funny. The first time that you came over, and John and I were vaping, you said you listened to the podcast and thought we were doing ripping
Dude,
bong hits.
all I could hear was bubbling. I'm like, dude, are they getting super stoned right now? Because just saying, man, the sound plus your guys' trains of thought and the progression of conversation, we're not helping you guys out.
I don't need pot to have weird thoughts, okay? It's like, this podcast is kind of like what happens when I'm alone at home and the power goes out. Like, I'm not real sure.
Like, I don't like bedtime. I'm alone with my thoughts. It's scary up here.
It is sometimes. It's sad. Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun now. 9 months. Interesting. I wonder how many people that first started listening are still listening. If you're still listening and you've listened since the first episode,
Well, considering
email us.
I've only been with you guys for 19 episodes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So out of the 36, I've been with you guys for half.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And sorry,
Technical difficulties.
yes, they were. I've been with you guys for half. So yeah, I wonder if there's anybody that's listened from the beginning. Like they stumbled upon it like the first week.
Yeah. Let us know.
You guys didn't really advertise your first
Twitter.
week. I mean,
Twitter, Facebook.
Twitter and Facebook.
Get a hold of us on Twitter or Facebook, or
Let us
email
know,
us
man.
and let us know if you're still listening. If you still like it.
Are
If you like what we're doing, let us know. Okay.
Are you an OG off dutier?
Yeah.
That's what we're
Yeah.
gonna call them, off dutiers.
Oh, don't do that. No.
They'll stop listening.
Duty. I've already talked about I almost poop my pants occasionally.
Okay,
so.
no, seriously.
Or have.
The first thing he says to me when I call him earlier is that he almost crapped his pants again today.
Yes.
And
Yes.
no adult has this problem this often.
Motherfucker, I'm 30. Shut up. There are other 30-year-olds out there that have this issue.
Like if you were like
IBS is a bitch, okay?
if you were like the superhero Shazam, which is just a kid in an adult's body,
Uh,
I can understand it. Like you were like 5 years old, and then like you're like 10-7 off duty, and then like you turn into a 30-year-old.
yeah.
I could be like, all right, I
okay.
get it.
Yeah. No. IBS is a bitch. Occasionally it's just, I think it's my, like, some of it has to do with my diet too, because like I ate at a place that I don't normally eat at.
And probably stress, man. I mean, how long have you been without a job now?
Yeah, too long.
I was gonna say, I bet it's longer than you've ever been before since
If
you
any
joined the
of-
workforce.
Yes, it has. If any of you motherfuckers out there want a salty medic to work for you, then let me know.
And you don't even want to know what he means by salty.
Maybe.
I mean, if you're into that, then let him know.
Grumpy. Okay, grumpy. How about that? Not always grumpy, but sometimes I can be grumpy. Yeah. Yeah, Illinois sucks. The weather blows. I don't like it because in the summertime it's hot and humid, and in the wintertime it can either be okay or fucking frigid.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is not where we are, and Chicago should not even be considered part of Illinois.
No,
It is a
shouldn't.
different continent.
Yes, exactly. Like I am a firm believer that they should just take that entire section and then
Build a wall, motherfucker!
just segregate that fucking shit. Like, how do they like? What is it? Washington D.C. is not technically a part of
Washington State? I don't know.
No, I'm
Uh,
pretty sure they're in West Virginia. Wow, my American
Geography
geography
is
is
not
horrible,
good.
dude.
Yeah.
Dude, if you'd asked me 2 hours ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, and I'm gonna give you their zip code. Right now,
It's that artificial intelligence, man.
yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
Not
No,
pulling it up.
I've been running full tilt since I got up this morning.
Me too.
And I got up way earlier than I usually do on my Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesdays are my days off. Wednesday, Thursday are my days off. Saturday, I usually sleep in till about 9 o'clock because I have to get up at 4 a.m. every other day.
Yeah.
I got up at 7 a.m. today just because I was laying there. I was like, eyes open like in a cartoon. I was like, yep, you're up. Let's go.
Yeah. Fuck. Like I said, this isn't a political podcast by any means, but we've talked about the fact that we both are gun people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And fucking Illinois is doing this bullshit we got a dumbass for a governor now, but
Yes.
there's two laws they're trying to get passed. The first one is, well, actually, I think there's three. The first one is that they can, if somebody says that you might be,
Red flag laws.
yeah, it
Yeah,
says you
if-
might.
Basically, if I called the police and said, I feel like Mr. Straley here was going to do me physical bodily harm with one of his firearms, they could actually go to his house and confiscate his firearms without any proof that he was actually going to cause me physical bodily harm.
Yes, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, that's dumb.
The second one they're trying to fucking pass is the fact that they want to ban any firearm with more than a 10-round magazine.
Which
So-
is 90% of firearms nowadays.
Yeah. The only literally the only people who would be allowed to have the only people who'd be allowed to have a gun at that point would be cops and military.
And while I do trust police officers and I do trust the
I trust
military,
most.
Okay, yeah, most.
There's bad seed.
Illinois cannot be a martial state.
Yeah.
It cannot be, because it would end up resulting in war. Now, maybe not in the physical sense of like a civil war inside of Illinois. Maybe not in that sense, but it would cause a lot of problems for a lot of people for no goddamn reason.
Yes, exactly. And the third one that they're trying to get passed is in order to renew your FOID card or to get a CCW card, the Illinois State Police has to have access to every social media site you've ever been a part of, so they can literally check your social media to see if you've ever talked about doing harm to anybody. It's fucking stupid. Like, I mean,
everybody was 16 once and threatened to kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's an invasion of privacy, for one.
yes, absolutely. What is it?
It goes against
Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
The Fourth Amendment, protection against the unlawful searches and seizures.
Yeah, those three laws right there go against the First, Second, and Fourth Amendments.
Yeah.
Like, it
Absolutely.
is the most unconstitutional bullshit I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Oh, here's a funny argument.
America's supposed
I
to
had
be
with-
free.
Here's a funny argument I have with somebody one day.
Yeah.
A legitimate argument about whether or not metal detectors violated your Fourth Amendment rights.
Yeah. It's not a contact.
No. Well, not just that. They said, well, because their whole argument was, I did not give them permission to search me.
Yeah.
Okay. You do not have to be at a location that has them.
Yeah.
You voluntarily went there.
Yeah.
You're like, well, what about courthouses? You have to be there. No, you don't. You have the choice of going to court without a weapon or going to jail if you have to be there.
Yeah. True.
I mean, if you're required to go to court that day, one, why the fuck would you want to bring a firearm or any kind of weapon with you unless you intended to use it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And two, leave it in your vehicle?
Yeah.
That's an option.
I've had to go to court before, and it's to the point where just leave everything in your car. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
no belt. Don't fucking put a belt on because it takes too long.
Dude, my belt right now, it's missing them now, but when I first got them, they had studs in them that were they were fake, they were replicas, but they were studs of 12 gauge shotgun shells, just the
Yeah.
end.
Mm.
And I love this belt. Now it's missing like all of them. I think I have one left on there.
Yeah.
They're not in there very well. They're just kind of like what is it? They're
Crimp.
just gonna they crimp them in there.
Yeah.
And dude, I got it caught on my seatbelt one time, and that ripped one out. I think I got
Yeah.
it caught on a belt loop another time. That one ripped one out.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit. But dude, I've actually been to court with this, or had to go to the courthouse with this thing on, and they're like, "You have to take that off."
Yeah. I know.
My pants gonna fall down. And they're like, "Well, you can't wear it in here." I'm like, "I'm scrawny, dude. I ain't got no hips." Like, let me tell you, Shakira was right. These hips don't lie. My pants are gonna fall down.
Your milkshake does not bring all the boys to the
No, they
7-Eleven.
do.
Yeah, but I actually put a post on social media not long ago. Whenever I started seeing all these new gun laws that they're trying to pass, and you know it's fucking Chicago that's trying to get this shit passed, you know, and that's the thing.
99.9% of the politicians we have are from Chicagoland.
Well,
area.
not only that, but fucking, I mean, Chicago has the most strictest gun laws
in the country.
And it has some of the worst crime rate because it's mostly shitbags up there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
sorry if
one
you're
of
from
my-
Chicago. And
one of my
but-
personal favorites is Chicago only has such horrible gun laws because the guns are getting there from outside sources.
Yep.
Okay, well then how come those outside sources don't have just as bad? Well, how they put it, neighboring states. Well,
Yeah.
neighboring states, their gun laws or their gun crime is nowhere near as
And
high.
90% of those guns are stolen.
Yeah.
So, and
Well,
they're
what
getting
is it?
stolen from
In-
other places and bringing them up to Chicago.
In Chicago, well, I don't know about Chicago statistics alone, but I've said it once, I'll say it before. 80% of gun crimes are committed with a stolen firearm, and 60% of gun crimes are suicide.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, in America, we still register suicide as a crime.
Which is really funny because attempting suicide, not a crime. But actually killing yourself is a crime. You'd think there'd be more corpses in jail.
I've actually had friends that have attempted suicide, and the way I look at suicide is it's a mental issue. Like, I don't think it should be a crime. They should actually put them somewhere where they can get to the bottom of it.
Fuck, we've talked, I mean, many moons ago when John was still here, we did an entire episode pretty much on, you know, the mental health and first responders and stuff like that. Which,
Oh, yeah.
and the shitty thing is, you know, I've been doing this long enough. I remember when there was more of a stigma against, you know, using like critical instant stress management when you were working, because, you know, you're just supposed to swallow it and take a deep breath and keep on going. I mean, you're
Yeah.
just supposed to run. I mean, that was I actually had a supervisor at one point tell me, well, it's your job. If you don't like it, you can go do something else. And I'm like, dude, this was a shitty call, you know? Like, let me take a breather or something like that. And it was just like, nope, they just expect you to run.
Yeah.
And that's
And
the shitty thing.
That's another thing for anybody who's just getting into a high stress work field. Just remember, everybody has a crutch. Everyone has their vices. Don't let somebody look down on you. Don't let somebody look down on you because of what your crutch is. And now, I mean, I'm not saying
if it
I'm
becomes
not,
a problem,
hear me out.
then.
I'm not saying that it's okay to be drunk 14 hours of the day.
yeah,
You know, as long as you're sober during 10 hours of the day, which you're probably gonna be asleep for.
right. You gotta sleep it off somehow.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm not saying that's okay. I'm saying that if you're a scrawny little 95-pound, fully grown male, and you're in a high stress work field, don't let somebody make fun of you because you go to the gym and hit the punching bag every once in a while. Yeah, you may not be able to hit that hard,
or even go to therapy. Don't
Yeah,
let somebody look down on that
exactly.
either.
Exactly. Whatever you need to do to make it through to the next day and know you're going to be fine, then do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't let somebody make fun of you for it. Don't let somebody say it's a horrible thing. I mean, there are assholes in the world.
Oh, totally. Fuck
I
yeah.
mean, shit.
And it's only been within the last 2 years that really anybody has brought, you know, the first responder mental health thing even into the public view, you know?
Yeah.
Now there's actually multiple places that offer free help if you're a first responder and you're having an issue.
Yeah.
You know, because they want you to get help now. They don't want you to just...
When I was in corrections, that's actually one of the things that they would. Sorry, I had a burp.
Yeah.
That was actually one thing that
But it tastes as good coming back as
no,
it did? Okay.
didn't. It didn't. It tasted like sadness. That was actually one thing that they would always push on you. Was if you had an issue with something that happened in corrections, like if you saw something horrible. Now, the worst people to talk to, or not really talk to, the worst people that would say anything to you in corrections were inmates.
Yeah.
Like, one, they shouldn't know. So if they did know, either somebody you know is talking or you told them.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's an issue. Don't talk to them like that.
Right.
But let's say, okay, like during a couple of the assaults I've seen when I was working there.
Yeah.
Now, none of them affected me quite that bad.
Right.
No,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. They got my heart going. I mean, they put me in overdrive. My adrenaline was running.
Fight or
'Cause,
flight kicks in. And
it was
there you go.
it was an assault.
Right. Yeah.
Every officer, every first responder has that at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it didn't affect me to the point where like I took it home with me.
Right. Yeah.
Now, what did affect me to the point that I took it home with me, and the ultimate reason why I left corrections was you have to be two different people in the world.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
to be an officer and then you have to be a citizen. And going back and forth after 8 hours it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
that's exactly why I drive too fast when I'm in my personal vehicle, because sometimes I forget I'm not in a fucking ambulance. Yeah. I actually told a cop that one time because I had gotten off work and I was driving. I think I was driving to do errands or something, and like I beat the yellow light, and I was speeding, of course. Fucking pulled me over. He goes, "Do you have a reason to be driving this fast?" And I said, "Honestly, I kind of forgot I wasn't in an ambulance right now." And he's like, "You're a medic?" "Yes." Slow it the fuck down.
Yeah, I had the same situation with when I was delivering pizzas.
Oh yeah.
And because a lot of people don't realize this, cops were normal people before they got a badge. Very few
Some
cops.
of them weren't.
Well, very few cops.
Some of them just like to watch Roadhouse and beat off.
Fair.
Probably corrections
Fair.
too.
Yeah. They actually had a nickname for guys, like they called them RoboCop.
Nice.
Yeah. Very few went directly from high school into the military or into law enforcement. Very, very few. Most of them were normal guys. So when I was delivering pizzas, I got pulled over one day for driving just a little too fast.
Yeah.
I'll admit I think I was going like...
And as long as...
I think I was going like 45 and a 35 or something like that.
Yeah, most of the time, as long as you don't make it a habit, they'll be like...
Yeah.
Okay.
And he pulled me over and he was like, "Why are you going so fast?" I was like, "I'm really sorry, sir. I am running behind. I'm the only delivery driver on shift right now." And he's like, "Who are you delivering for?" Because at the time I was driving a little...
Dunkin' Donuts.
No, I was driving a little drop top. I was driving a little Chrysler Sebring convertible.
Uh-huh.
And so because I drove so fast, I kept losing the flag. Because it was cloth
Cloth top,
I
yeah.
couldn't put the giant magnet on the top of my car saying who I was living for, so they gave me a flag. And after about the third one in a week where I brought it in and the stick was bent in half from the wind force and the flag was gone, they're like,
"Fuck it, we ain't
you
giving
don't
you
get
another
one anymore." I'm like, all right, that's fine. I didn't like putting them on my car.
Right.
But he was like, you're a delivery driver? I was like, yeah. He's like, where for? And I grabbed my hat and I showed him. I was like, Papa John's.
Pizza slut.
Yeah. I was like, Papa John's. And he was like, okay, I used to be a delivery driver. I understand, but slow it down, because if you get into a car accident,
You're at fault.
You're going to be at fault.
Yes.
You won't have a job anymore. And I'm like, I understand, sir. And he's like, all right, I'm giving you a verbal warning. Get out of here. Don't do it again.
Slow down.
Yeah, I was like, absolutely, sir.
Well, this was been a kind of a side. This was just a side for what I was gonna say, because we were talking about the fucking new laws and shit in Chicago. Mm-hmm. This is what I fucking posted. Is I wonder if they realize that if all the legal gun owners in Illinois moved out of the state, it would literally only be Chicago left, and there would be no crops grown. There would be no viable commerce coming out of Illinois, because it would just be fucking Chicago. And really, Chicago doesn't do anything.
Not really.
No.
Cause problems for the rest of the state.
There would be no tractors made. There would be no...
No, absolutely. That's why we used to have a foreign exchange student that came to my school. And I remember one of them came in. Not quite so racist.
Oh, okay.
No, we actually had one... there was two that I remembered because I actually talked to them regularly. One was I was a freshman. He was a senior. He came over his senior year. He was German. And I asked him as a joke because there was that Family Guy episode
Yeah.
where they went to Germany and they're like, "Hey, what's this gap between 1939 and 1944?" And I asked him, I was like, "Is it true you guys don't study World War II in Germany? Because I heard that somewhere." And he was like, he started yelling. He's like, "We did nothing wrong." Blah blah blah. I was like,
Whoa. Calm it down there, Hitler.
okay, dude, I don't know if you're yelling about it or if you're there right now. Because
What, are you having a fucking flashback?
I've got
motherfucker?
dark skin and dark hair, and if you try to like put me in striped pajamas, dude, we're gonna have to go. Like,
Actually, funny story. When I was in last episode, we were talking about that nobody, when I was in like junior high, I thought was that hot. I remembered somebody when you just said exchange student. There was an
foreign exchange student.
There
who
was a
actually good
fucking
looking.
German female exchange student, and she was gorgeous. Like,
The blonde hair, blue eyed going on.
yeah, but still, band tees, tight pants didn't work for me. Well, I would have done many horrible things to her.
I wouldn't say that in this day and age, man. But
It was years ago. It's
no,
fine.
but there was another one, and she
Things
was
probably
she was,
illegal in a few states.
she was Thai, and she had very broken English, but she still spoke English well enough where you knew what she was saying, and she had a very large vocabulary.
Yeah.
It was just her dialect was hard to understand.
Yeah.
And so we would talk and stuff like that. And I remember one time she looked at me, she goes, the biggest culture shock with coming to Illinois was she expected there to be more skyscrapers. And I started laughing. I'm like, that's about 2.5 hours due north.
Yeah, no shit.
And
That's
she
where
was-
all the traffic is. Fuck
I
off.
was like, yeah, dude, down here, you're going to be surrounded on all four sides by cornfields. And most of the towns here have like 1,200 to 2,000 people in them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I prefer that. I'm sorry. When the town I live in, if that's the biggest metropolitan area, or metropolitan city in our area,
Yeah,
and it's still only 45 square miles, which is not that big for city standards,
Totally.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I can get anywhere I want to in town in 20 minutes.
I understand, like, Chicago has a lot of history, and it has a lot of like cool shit to go do and see sometimes, as long as you're not there for a while. But it was the dumbest fucking idea to take the most amount of people you could and shove them into that little fucking corner of our state.
I don't think it was a plan.
Yeah,
You gotta figure, man, it really got big. Chicago really got big for being one of the, well, it's kind of a go between LA and New York.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chicago. I mean, how big was Chicago back in fucking 20s, 30s, 40s?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Fucking gangsters and shit
oh
like
yeah,
that.
everybody. There was something going on up there for everyone. Chicago is actually, like, when you go up there, it really is divided into its own little world. Like New York probably does it the best with their their 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
But Chicago is divided up just like that in a lot of ways. I mean, there's Chinatown,
The Puerto Rican
there's a little
section.
Puerto Rican section, and there's like the Hispanic
Fucking
section.
awesome tacos.
Yeah,
Puerto
like
Rican section.
Puerto Rican section. They go to the Mexican section. Like if you confuse them, they get pissed. Like pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, Chinatown, you got a little Thai town. Once again, you get them confused, they get pissed. You had like the little Irish town. I mean, now these aren't the official names for them. But
You just that's the area where they're
Exactly.
most of them are located.
and
You can tell when you change from one to the other.
oh yeah, and like
pretty easy.
you had a little Italy. I mean, when you go into Little Italy, dude, it's kind of a culture shock because that area, if nowhere else in Chicago, they're very, very old school, traditional. Like you meet someone older than you, it's yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Like they're traditional.
But that's everywhere in southern Illinois, or
I know, but I mean,
i.e. the rest of the state. You know what's
Well,
really shitty though?
not everywhere.
Like 6 years ago, probably 6 years ago, they decided that since Chicago was so big, they made a large low-income housing section in the town we live near or live in, and they shipped most of the shitty people out of Chicago.
That was more than 6 years ago.
Was it? Yeah, that was
Because
probably 10 years ago.
I was to say they were building it when I moved here.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first moved here and I met my best friend at the time,
Yeah.
which he's actually a basic character in one of the books I'm writing off of him. And he was stoked that the apartment complex, like the housing complex that was getting built like 4 or 5 blocks away from us, was going to have its own park. It's going to have its own pool, and you didn't have to.
That went downhill real fucking quick.
You didn't have to live there to access them.
Yeah.
And when they first built them, they were
You got to watch out for the
incredible.
heroin needles.
Well, when
If
they
you go
first
to the
built
park.
it, they were incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I think I went there like 4 or 5 times, and I know
I
it's
have ran
cool.
some of the shittiest calls at that.
Yeah, dude,
at those
it's
places.
been within the last 10 years that it really went downhill. Like, it started like a slow decline, then within the last 10
And
years,
then it
was just
fucking
like,
dropped.
Hey, there's the cliff.
You know what pissed me off? There were many things that pissed me off when I was running calls over there. Most of the time, it was because they were dumb. They were just the dumbest fucking call. Like one of the calls where you walk up and go, "Why did you call 911 for this?" Like stub toe at 2:00 in the morning, nosebleed at like 2:00 in the morning, and it was always like late night because they don't fucking sleep because they don't have to go to work the next day. But the other thing that pissed me off really was you'd go in these places, they had fucking hardwood floors, they had big screen TVs, they had stereos bigger than my car, and it's like, how did
Exactly.
you have better shit than I do, and I'm
Now,
working.
I've seen the opposite side of that, where it's not just kind of disgusting seeing that shit. Because, I mean, one thing, if you're getting help from the government and you're still doing that kind of shit, that's messed up.
I'm on fucking unemployment right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm
that's
looking for a
messed up.
job, so it's different.
However, I have seen people who make decent money, especially in some of the factories around here that pay you buku. Dude, they'll buy trailers and then pay like $300-400 in lot rent, and then they've got a Mercedes sitting out front.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's kind of smart. Like, you just minimize your expenses to be able to afford the cool shit.
Yeah, you can bank that shit. Yeah.
Like, that's cool. That's a good idea. But then you have all these other idiots that live over in some of these housings where it's like, in some of this housing, it's like, you know,
and you know
that
they're
was
fucking
developed. Like, the idea of that kind of housing was developed to help you get back on your feet, not to make it a
not
career.
to be permanent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the fucking like you knew the ones that were dealing too because they were in the low income housing, but then they had all the nice shit, and outside was a freaking like Charger on 22s or something like that.
Oh yeah, like, one of the kids I actually went to school with, went to middle school with, and then like the first year of high school, but he kept getting suspended for fights.
Yeah.
And then he just didn't come back after that. He and I were buddies until he grew up to be literally one of the biggest drug dealers in the old neighborhood I lived in. And it's like seeing him now, because I'll run into him from time to time, and seeing him now, it's like, dude, you were absolutely still doing it. Now, granted, good for him, he does not collect like welfare and all that other stuff, and he doesn't collect food stamps or do any of that stuff, because, I mean, shit, he makes more money in a month than I make in a year. He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
All he does is just, he just puts unemployed in his taxes every year. Right. Like, that's it. Like, I actually ended up talking to him about it. He's like, technically, I'm not breaking any laws other than dealing itself. So there's really no reason for them to come after me for other than dealing. I'm like,
yeah,
that's still a pretty big thing to come after you for. Like,
I'll be honest though, this is the other thing I hate about Illinois. They don't give two fucks or a goddamn about cities or streets around here. I mean, there are some potholes on the way into town that you could just set a house
drop your car in and everybody else just kind of drives over your car.
Yeah, or you just put a fucking house on it and it's got a full-size basement, you know? It's like, shit.
Yeah.
They spent when I was working over in the Capitol a couple of years ago, they had the bridge that went to the highway to get to Springfield was out, and they probably for a good year it was out while they were working on it. Man, I took that today. They did the bridge, but it's still rutted as fuck everywhere else getting onto that.
Pothole season is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Because here in Illinois, you know when pothole season's going to roll around because it's right after everything's been frozen, everything starts thawing out. That's when the holes start popping up, and then they half-ass
It's just
blacktop
fucking
it.
cold pack it. They don't even
Like,
fix it.
Yeah, no. All they do is literally, like you said, cold pack it, and half the time they put so much in there that it kind of just bubbles up. So now you got random lumps in the road.
Yeah, then you
and
just
it's
have a-
just as bad as having a
ramp
giant hole in the road.
You ramp one side of your car up. And you're
You
like
hit it- if you hit that bump going when you're making a turn, you're gonna flip your car.
it's like those YouTube videos of those Arabs that are like riding around on two wheels like out in the desert and shit. That's bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking dumb.
Dude, after seeing some of those videos, man, I thought rednecks were nuts.
Yeah, but I don't think they drink there. So
No,
there's not
one
even
of
a
the things
hold
that
there.
cracked
There's not
me
even
up.
a hold my beer and watch this.
There was a video as she was, yeah, it was a video. It was turned into a GIF. It was like a 20-second GIF where this guy had a ATV on its ass, and he was just going around in circles, and he was holding onto the handlebars, just flinging himself around it.
Are you talking
there
about
was-
like a donut? Like
No.
just spinning around? Oh, okay.
No, like it was on its tailpipe.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And he was holding on to it, and he was like just full on just swinging around this thing. And then there was some other guy that was standing next to it, just jumping over his feet every time he came around. I'm like, what the fuck?
I saw the one of like an ATV on a frozen lake, and the dude's doing literally doing a donut in this frozen lake, but he gets going so fast it like fucking tornadoes and like lifts off the ground, and he gets thrown off and everything. It's fucking awesome. That was a hold my beer watch this moment. Yeah.
My buddy, the Norseman I told you about, he's from Minnesota. Like he was born like a mile away from the Canadian
Yeah, you were
border.
talking about that.
Yeah. Well, he would tell me like this is actually pretty cool. I didn't know that this was a thing. Evidently, the lake that just separates his town from Canada. Like you cross this lake, you're in Canada. There's no border patrol right there. Like you cross that lake, you're in Canada. And
There's just a goose on the other side.
yeah,
It's the fucking Canadian Navy.
yeah. Every once in a while, you'll see a Mountie. And you're like, "What you doing, eh?" But
Can I get you some Tim Hortons?
the lake
Yeah.
The lake freezes so bad that they'll just plow out roads and put like standing street signs for when you want to go ice fishing, and
No
then
shit.
people just drive their huts out there, park it, and then that's your address for fishing season.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Like when he was telling me about it, because they just like random. They're like, "Yeah, you're responsible for digging the hole."
Huh.
And then I was like, "Well, how deep are how
Probably
thick is the ice?"
Fucking foot at
And
least.
oh, dude, he was telling me, he's like,
wonder
"Oh,
if you
there's some patches where you're going for a minute. Like you almost have to get down in the hole to
I wonder
to
if
keep."
anybody fucking puts like space heaters in there, or if that's just like a sketchy no thing.
Dude, it's so cold in there. It's the ice is so frozen solid. Where even if you did, I mean, yeah, the top layer might melt a little bit, but you're still safe. I mean, I'm talking about a foot and a half, sometimes 3 feet of ice.
Jesus.
Like, I mean,
thank
no
you.
space heater's gonna melt through 3 feet of ice.
Yeah.
And they, with their hut there, I mean, those huts, they get warm. Like he was saying that one of his uncles or a grandfather or something like that, they had a hut, and they heated it up to almost 90 degrees inside, where you'd be sitting there in your fucking boxers with a fishing line.
Jesus.
Yeah,
But then those
in the middle of the
motherfuckers
winter.
up there are crazy too, because there's some of those people who like swimming in that cold ass water. Like what in the fuck? Have you ever
Hey
seen
man,
that?
if that's what you're used to, I mean, cool.
No, fuck that shit.
I mean, hey, dude, you know
My
what?
fucking nipples would fall off. No, thank you.
I have met people from our area that have gone down south just for vacation, like a couple of weeks at a time. I'm not talking about like Florida or anything. I'm talking about like Louisiana,
Yeah.
Georgia, where it's like so humid, everyone else's sweat is sticking to you,
Yeah,
like that kind of
your nuts
humidity.
are stuck to your leg and permanently.
Yeah, and they tell me they get back and they're like, "Oh my god, it was so fucking horrible." Well, my best friend from high school married a girl that was from Georgia. Dude, we had a winter when I was in high school that
Did she
wasn't
live
even
on
that
the
bad.
Florida Georgia line.
No. She was like deep Georgian, and But she could not handle the winter up here. Could not. And it was not that bad. Like, we didn't even get snow that year. Just could not. Like, I remember looking at her and she was like full parka, just like so cold. I'm like,
This is not bad.
I'm sitting there in a leather jacket that's not even insulated and a t-shirt under. I'm like, do you want my jacket?
Wait till winter 2019 when we get negative 35. It's fucking colder than the Arctic.
Oh shit, they live in Tennessee now. She's good.
Did you know that it was literally colder here than it was in the Arctic Circle during that 2-3 day period?
Now I do.
It was fucking dumb.
Hey, we lived through it.
Times I wish I hadn't. Just stand outside and freeze.
What was it? Somebody told me the best way to measure wind chill. They're like, literally, it's not even an exact science. The original wind chill was just, what does it feel like if you're standing outside naked? Yeah. I'm like,
cold.
How do they measure that? Because somebody had to go outside naked and stand there.
It's like fucking Family Guy. It's fucking cold. Yeah. That's dumb.
Now, I don't know if that's true, but man, that is just funny to think about.
I actually had a call where somebody like, this has been years ago. This dude, it was one of those times when it wasn't even as cold as it was last weekend. It was probably 0 degrees with a negative 10 or 12 wind chill factor or something like that.
Okay, yeah, not that bad.
Some dude apparently stumbling home from a bar fell down in an alley. They found him the next morning and he was literally frozen solid. And
Is he dead?
Yes. But
well, I mean, that was kind of a dumb question.
But the problem is, technically in EMS, you're not dead until you're warm and dead. So we had to like try to work the guy.
Thaw him out?
Pretty much. We had to just
get the blow dryer.
Fucking just basically crank the heat up in the ambulance, and like it was so bad we couldn't even do fucking chest compressions because he was just like frozen in a sea. It was horrible. It was like a teeter-totter.
I'm sure it was horrible for him too, as he laid there and froze to death.
I don't know, man. As long as he had a good enough drunk going on, he probably didn't even fucking know it.
I actually found something else that's pretty cool.
What's that?
When somebody freezes to death, there was actually a long time where they thought hypothermic cases were sexual assault cases because just before you freeze to death, your brain goes into overdrive.
You come?
No, and makes you think you're hot. And people have actually taken their clothes off as they're freezing to death.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a while where they were not really diagnosed, but misclassifying cases as sexual assault cases because they found people dead with their clothes off.
And cum.
No, I really don't think cum is involved, Drew.
Okay, all right. Fine. Just like saying that word. Cum. Yeah, I mean, you can die pretty easy from cold weather. And that's what my truck wouldn't start because one of the cable ends was just deteriorated. Man, I'm telling you what, I'd go outside to try to work on it. I could only be out there for maybe 2-3 minutes, and I'd have to go back inside and just warm up for a couple of minutes before I could go back out again.
Yeah,
terrible.
What was it? Frostbite was setting in 6.5 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, even less. I think 5 maybe.
Yeah, I know it was getting bad for a while there because, like I said, my job is outside, so I mean, I was getting very little done during that because I'd have to go outside and cut, and people were like, "Well, you're staying warm because of the cutting torch, right?"
Bullshit.
No,
fucker.
Because there was actually one point in time where the cutting torch we use puts out 300 pounds of pressure per square inch.
Right. Okay? Yeah.
300 psi. While it was lit and full blast going, now the head we use is about a 1/2 inch. So if you do the math right, that's about 600 pounds of pressure coming out of the tip of that thing.
Just the tip.
Sorry. And 600 pounds of pressure coming out of the thing, the wind blew so hard, it blew my goddamn torch out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was possible. I went ahead to start cutting. I was just about to hit the accelerant to really get going. I looked at it, looked up, and I was like, guess I'm done. I was like, I'm not even fucking bothering to relight the damn thing.
It's bullshit. Yeah. There's another law, which actually kind of leads into a question I have for you.
Okay.
I I don't even know if I think John and I don't know. Anyway, there's one more law that they're trying to pass in Illinois, which is one of the other dumbest laws I have ever heard in my entire life. This whole pussification of our generation. They're wanting to make it illegal and punishable for any person to make a child feel disappointed, or like basically if
Feel stress.
yeah, feel stressed. So if you like call somebody a dumbass, they want to make that be a like a law that's punishable.
Now, it kind of depends what they do with it. Is that what I think about it? Is that the question?
Kind of. I mean, I don't know about you. I got my ass whooped when I was a kid.
And see, exactly, like, my son, I've had to spank him very few times. Now he's 2 years old, and if he is throwing a fit that's bad, yeah, he's going to get a pop in his ass, and he's going to sit in his room until he knows when to so he can calm the hell down.
Yeah.
And he'd better not get out of his bed, because then he'd get another pop on his butt.
Yep.
Well, I'm one of those fathers. I do the cupped swat.
Yeah.
Where it's mostly just that pop on your diaper and mostly just kind of hurts his feelings. It doesn't really cause him any pain.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I think it actually said something about hurt feelings. In the actual law that they wrote.
Now, if you are disciplining your child and you're ridiculing them and you're like, hey, you're not supposed to do that, blah blah blah, and you can get in trouble for that, that's absolutely bullshit.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that the law was put in place for people that are literally just berating their child, and that's messed up. You should not berate a child.
Let's be real honest. I mean, with everything, there's going to be somebody who, even if you're doing it like the correct way, like actually chastising your child or whatever, somebody's going to take it too far.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's actually what I was going to say, because even if, like, let's say, okay, here's a good example. My son today threw a fit in the public library. And I mean a fit.
Yeah.
Now, the reason he threw a fit is because it was getting close to nap time. Hadn't had a nap yet.
Right, yeah.
And we were getting ready to leave, and he saw that...
I get cranky when I don't get my nap time.
In our library, there's this wooden train set with tracks.
Yeah.
And he wanted to play with it. Well, we were about to head out the door because we had other stuff to do, and we told him no. Well, he didn't like that.
Yeah.
So he threw a fit. Well, I'm trying to calm him down. And he just wasn't listening. Trying to calm him down, so he wasn't listening. So finally I looked at him, I was like, Jensen, if you do not calm down, you're going to get a swat on the ass. I'm going to put your books away, and you're going to take a nap as soon as you get home.
Yeah. Didn't stop? Did he stop?
No, he didn't stop. And I eventually got him outside, and we got him to take a nap. But I was not going to strike my son in the public library only because about a year ago I heard about somebody who had DCFS called on him.
Which is fucking stupid.
For something like that.
I got my ass smacked in public. I'm 30 years old.
Oh, I did too. My grandmother raised me. She was small. She was old. She could hit like Mike Tyson. Dude.
My fucking grandma was like a goddamn biker. She was maybe 90 pounds soaking wet, but she didn't take her ring off as she went to backhand. And fuck, man.
But got him outside, finally got him chilled out, got him calm, and I was mostly angry about the situation because I'm not really mad at my son because he's a toddler. He's going to throw a fit from time to time. Any parent that says, my kid will never act like that,
bullshit.
You're a dumb fucking piece
lying.
of shit. I'm glad you have all the answers in the world. You should write a goddamn book.
He will act like that. You just fucking ignore it is all you're doing.
Exactly. Now, again, for the parents that overreact to their child throwing a fit, if he's throwing a little fit, how about instead of screaming at him, try to figure out what the issue is first. And then if he's just throwing a fit to throw a fit, that's when you tell him, hey, you got to knock it off.
At least do something.
Exactly.
Because I was in the grocery store the other day, and there was this probably 2-year-old in the cart being pushed by his mom, and he is screaming his fucking head off. Just absolutely going to town. And the mom is just blissfully unaware or just ignoring it completely because she's just walking through the aisles and just getting stuff. And this kid is literally like grabbing boxes and throwing them on the floor and all this stuff. I'm like, look, lady, and I didn't say this, but it kind of came to mind is, if you're not going to fucking do it, I will, okay?
Yeah, well, there's one of my favorite comedians actually said, I wish there was a universal look parents could give to each other to have, so if their kid's acting up, another parent can just be like, hey, shut up, nobody cares.
Yeah. That was just crazy to me. Like, and anybody who's listened to this knows my hatred of going to the grocery store, because inevitably I get annoyed by some either whale of a person or somebody just not giving two fucks or a damn.
Yeah.
I saw a grown woman in a Incredibles onesie at the grocery store the other day. Like, adult. Pushing a cart with an infant in a baby carrier. I'm like, why did you leave the house looking like that? What the fuck was going through your mind?
One of my favorite things I ever heard was I walked into the neighborhood Aldi's, and my son is with me, and this little kid is off the corner just yelling. And his parents aren't doing a goddamn thing to stop. My son looks at him and then looks at me and then looks at him and then looks at me and goes, Daddy, what? That baby needs to shut up. I'm like,
High five, buddy. High five.
I started laughing. I was like, don't say that too loud, man. It's not our business. He's like, not our business. That baby needs to be quiet. And I was like, I agree, but we cannot say that to somebody else. It's not our business. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, like, this fucking law is just going to turn good parents into possible criminals, and shitty parents into shittier parents.
And see, I'm a firm believer. From time to time, you do need to give your kid a pop on the ass.
Mm-hmm.
From time to time, you do need to, like, ridicule them. You need to verbally tell them, like, hey,
no.
You need to knock it off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need to know you mean business. But I have seen people take it too far. Like, I've seen a woman cussing at her 4-year-old, calling him a dumb piece of shit. Like,
that's too far.
Like,
yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you? And if he's got an issue, it ain't falling too far from the tree, dude. Like, you're a dumb piece of shit for screaming at a child like that.
In my personal opinion, this law is going to just perpetuate this generation of people who feel like their feelings matter. It's dumb.
And in the general public, honestly, I'll be the first to say it. I really do not care what you think or feel unless you are directly tied to me somehow.
Yes.
And then it comes with limitations.
Yes.
Unless I put a ring on it or I was involved in your creation. It has a limit.
Look, my thing is, if I call you a dumbass, it's probably because you were doing something that was dumbass.
Yeah.
And if that offends you,
yeah,
nut up and get over it.
And another thing, for the people, men and women of my generation, we grew up watching shows like That 70s Show.
Yes.
Where they were horrible friends to each other when you really think about it.
Yeah.
How can you feel like your feelings matter that much? Like, come on. Really? Really? Okay. My friends and I, that's exactly how we act. We make fun of each other nonstop.
Yeah,
now, there are things that I will not bring up when I'm making fun of somebody.
Uh-huh.
Well, like weight, stuff like that.
Oh, I'll do that.
I won't, only because if that's just naturally how they're built.
I was a little fat boy. I can talk about that.
if that's naturally how somebody is built,
yeah,
I'm not going to make fun of them for it.
Uh-huh.
However, if I met them and they were 95 pounds and then over the span of like 5 years, they're now like 460.
Yeah.
I'm like, bruh.
When I first met John, he was skinnier than me. Now he is not.
And now I'm talking about like in the time that I've known them.
Right, yeah.
And so there are just things I won't bring up. Like my friends, they won't bring up jokes about my mom. They won't.
Yeah.
Well, because my mom passed away when I was a kid, and
yeah,
my grandma who raised me passed away in 14, and they know how they know how close I was to her, so they don't bring that stuff up. Cool.
That's polite.
Exactly. But
they'll still tell you to fuck off.
Oh, dude. Oh my God. I walk into that house half the time, and my best friend's sitting there. I'm like, "Where's my queer-mosexual?" He's like, "I'm in here." Good, I want a hug. He's like, "You're not getting a hug. Grab me a beer." Fuck off.
That's exactly what you do.
but he's like, no, seriously, I'm out. Can you grab me another beer? I'm like, yeah, I got you a beer. So I'll take it and then I'll shake it before I give it to him.
It's like we've talked about it before. Like just this over the last year, everybody's feelings have to mean something.
Yes,
it's dumb. I feel like their parents should have been more into the spanking. Like
either that or okay, now there is a thing where you should be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing. If somebody else's words affect you that much, that is a personal issue.
You probably just need to go to a padded room somewhere.
Well, that's a
and
it's
just
a
wear
personal
headphones.
issue. Like, if I thought somebody in my life was literally caustic to me, they're not going to be a part of my life. Yeah, I don't care how good of friends I am with them. You're no longer
dump
a
them
part
like
of
a
my
bad
life.
habit. Yeah,
exactly. But I'm not going to get rid of a friendship over a few bad words. I'm going to tell them like, hey man,
fucking words.
Hey man, or hey dude, I didn't like what you fucking said to me. So because we're friends, I'm coming to you man to man or adult to adult. Don't say that shit to me again. Yeah. And if they're a good friend, they'll be like, you know what? I didn't realize that's how it was. My bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But
if something offends you, tell the person, and then they'll either apologize or be like, I don't fucking care.
Now, and here's the silver lining. If I don't know you, I'm not going to give a shit what you think of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I hate everyone equally. That's my go-to. But all right. So now here's the question, because your grandma spanked you and my parents spanked me.
She went ham on me.
did your grandma or did your parents or anybody, did they what did they use? Was it just hand or?
No, okay, now are we talking about the strangest object we've ever been hit with, or just the most common?
Let's go with both.
Okay,
because
I'm gonna go with the spectrum. The most common was a slipper or a shoe.
Okay. I feel like that's a Chicago thing.
Dude, fear the chancla. I'm not joking. Fear the chancla. They were fucking boomerangs, man. Like you could be running, she'd throw them, they'd smack your ass, catch you, turn around, it's back in her goddamn hand. Like I don't even know how she just did that. But anyway, slipper or shoe. Okay, I've had a belt. I've had a switch, and the strangest was a phone.
Like a corded phone?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about like one that you pull off and you have to recharge it at the end of the day. No, I'm talking
attached to the fucking wall.
The one that's like at the beginning of Powerpuff Girls with the fucking face on it.
Yeah,
one of those. Yeah.
Was it the whole phone or just the handset?
No, the whole phone. Like we had like a 90-foot cord. We had a 90-foot cord or some shit. Like, dude, it caught me in the back of my head and took me off my feet.
It's like a shitty version of kickball.
Dude, it was horrible. Okay, now the story behind that is, she said something to me. Toward the end, she started going a little crazy. Okay. My grandmother actually had Alzheimer's when she passed away.
Right.
Well, her mind started slipping a little bit. Well, at the beginning of that slip, she would bring me into conversations that she was having in her head.
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but it's fucking funny.
No, because they weren't like crazy conversations. They were legitimate conversations.
Just with nobody else in
nobody
the
else.
room.
I think she was just ranting to herself and then brought me in midway through the rant.
Okay.
Like I remember one time we were sitting there and we just got the Comcast remote. Like back when they first came out.
Yeah.
Like all like the bells and whistles, like the on demand, the DVR, like all that shit.
Yeah.
On the one remote. Yeah, and I'm going through and I'm looking for something to watch because at the end of the day, her shows are done. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna watch about a half an hour TV and then I'm gonna go to bed.
Right.
She's like, okay, cool. She was actually up this day. She's usually in bed by the time I got home. Okay. Well, I'm flipping through the channels and she's quiet and quiet. And she's quiet for like 3 minutes and then just goes, "You're an asshole."
Whoa.
What did I do? Because I mean, I had not said a word at this point. And she's like, "You've always promised to show me how that remote works and you never do." Blah. And she started going off on me. And I'm like, listen, I'm sorry, but I don't really have time and you're impossible to teach electronics.
Those are my parents.
And I wasn't
I
saying
love my
it.
mom and dad, but trying to show them how to use a phone is not fun.
I wasn't saying it to mean, but I was like 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And so it probably came off as me being an asshole. and
As
I
most things
just
do.
kind of feel her eyes burning into the side of my head. Like she's looking at me, and I
Yeah.
know it. And I know she's about to grab
And
that
if you
slipper.
turned and looked, it would be like the Nazis on Indiana Jones.
Exactly. And she had that like kind of like proper cross-leg lady sit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how she always sat. Always. She was born at a different time. That's how she was
Right.
trained to sit.
You don't show the culo.
Yeah. Well, I know she's going to reach down and grab her slipper and just go fucking ham on me.
Yeah.
So I did what any idiot 14-year-old would do. I used my speed and dexterity against her. Before she could reach for it, I reached down, grabbed it, took it off her foot, and ran.
There's still
Well-
one more.
I jumped, and the way our door frames were set up is they had a lip
Yeah.
on it, and then there was a little gap, and then it was the ceiling. Now this gap was only like 2.5, 3 inches,
Right.
just enough for me to reach up there, smack her slipper in there to make it stick, and then I kept going. I was about 8 feet away from her, and I felt something just right in the back of my head, man. Just it caught me hard, and it took me off my feet as I was turning to go into the kitchen. And I look up, and there's this phone just sitting next to me. I'm like, she just hit me with the phone? And she was like, yeah, you little asshole, and bring my slipper back to me. I was like,
God.
so you're going to hit me with it. And she's like, you're lucky I don't hit you with the phone again. I was like, really? Now I knew she could because she had that cord already in her hand to pull it back.
My parents would turn. I loved getting Hot Wheels when I was a kid
Uh-huh.
until the Hot Wheels track turned into.
Dude, my brain went somewhere else. It's like they were putting Hot Wheels in a sock.
Oh God!
So, back.
No, a fucking Hot Wheels track that turns into a weapon, like, and that will sting.
Oh, dude, when I was like 5 or 6, I was annoying her with one of those paddle ball things. Now, for any of you kids listening, a paddle ball was literally just like a ping pong battle with a rubber band and a ball on the end of it, and you just like ding, 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 just bounce it back and forth. That's all. The whole point of it.
And then whenever that ball came off, it became a weapon.
Oh no, she got mad at me one day. She cut it off and spanked me with it.
Just didn't even take out the fucking staple either. I had that. I tried that whole cheat code when my parents would have me like go get a Switch or something. I figured the skinnier the stick would be better. That thing just gets more speed.
Oh yeah, yep. No, that was the same thing I had to deal with. Oh, and I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but I'm going to. That crack right below your ass cheeks, like where your ass cheeks meet your thighs,
Yes.
doesn't scar.
Fuck.
Learned that the hard way.
Man, I tell you, I fucked up when I was like probably, I don't know, 14, 15, whatever like that. Maybe 13, I don't know. I did something stupid. My mom went to spank me, and it was like, ooh, a little to the left. Yeah.
No.
Then it was not mom doing it anymore. Then it was wait till your father gets home. Fuck. Yeah.
See, already that is my wife's threat for my son. Now she can handle our son for the most part,
Right.
but when he gets too bad for her, she'll be like, just wait till daddy gets home. Or if I'm on the phone with him, I'll tell him, do I have to come home right now? He's like, no, you don't have to come home right now. No. And I'm like, then you better knock it off. Tell your mom you're sorry.
Yeah.
He's like, he'll get quiet. I'm like, you heard me. Tell your mom you are sorry. And he's like, sorry, mommy. And I was like, that's what I thought. Now go play in your room for a little while. Now I'm on the phone this whole time.
Right.
Like, now go play in your room. Go find your Paw Patrol, whatever. Go play with them. Make Paw Patrol save Spider-Man or something.
Right.
And he's like, okay. And then my wife's like, my wife would be sitting there. I'm like, what's he doing? Just going towards his room. Okay.
Done.
I used to joke. I'm like, just call me Dad, the averter of the circumventer of disasters.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Should we wrap this thing up?
I might as well. I mean, I don't know how long we've been recording.
We're getting there.
Getting
All right. Well, we both have things to do, so we're gonna knock this one off, and say goodbye to you people, because we appreciate you coming and listening to ramblings of artificial intelligence, apparently, and the ASMR of vape. Oh, speaking of ASMR, have you seen a new fucking Michelob commercial?
No.
They like have this chick in like a tied up button-up shirt, which is okay looking, but it literally is like an ASMR of her opening a beer and pouring it into a glass. I'm like, this has gone too far. This is not a commercial. This is just people being stupid.
Gabriel Iglesias when he was talking about old Pepsi commercials. Do you want it?
Do I want to drink it or do I want to fuck it? What is it?
No. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Oh! Are you ready? I'm done.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to us yet again. Send us emails and questions if you have them. 107offduty@gmail.com is our email address. Also, get a hold of us on Facebook and Twitter at 107 or 10-7 off duty. I don't know why I screwed that up the first time. Sorry. Yeah, go get a hold of our friends at Medic Element and use the discount code MEDIC18 for buy one get one free on stickers, because they're cool. And if you haven't checked them out yet, you should go over and do that, because you're obviously listening to us on a phone, so all you got to do is type it in. It's easy. Just fucking do it. And also, if you want to be caffeinated, go to Black Rifle Coffee and use the discount code 107 off duty for 15% off your order. So go get a mug and some coffee and, just buy some shit. We know you got money, so do it. And we got t-shirts still. Buy those too, please. I need them gone. Please. Anyway, all right.
He's taking his pants off. He's really desperate.
Mm-hmm. Rubbing my nipples.
They can't see you, Joel.
Yeah, only you can. Try to get that image out. All right, bye.
Later.